Welcome back to the garage. We're gonna get back on this 450. I figured I'd bring it outside. This thing hasn't seen the light of day in a few weeks, maybe about a month now, and just go over a few things that I see wrong with it. So I know in the last video I just touched on it briefly, saying that I ordered a new wire harness and that's why I had it on the back burner. And I'll bring it outside here and I'll just show you some of the reasons why I decided to go with a new harness. Anyways, I put the head pipe on and I made a couple of studs, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But for now, I did plug the key back in. Obviously, I tried to get spark. Wouldn't give me spark. The harness is it's too far gone. I don't even want to deal with it. If you look here, I mean, there's wires that are cut, broken. They're supposed to go inside here. Someone has this thing hot wired in. This here powers the fan. It goes directly to the fan up front. There's no fuse in it or anything. That's dangerous. This thing here is just kind of like flopping in the wind. You can see bare wire there. This is a makeshift ground. I don't know why they need a ground going all the way to the front, but I think this ground and this positive here goes straight to the battery. I mean, straight to the fan. What else do we got going on here? I went to check the fan to see if it worked, and that little round toggle that was on here didn't work anymore, so I had to grab this in my pots to get the fan to work. You can see there, wires are frayed. Another concerning thing here is if you look down inside of here, you can actually see bare wires on that. That's not good. Everything is taped together. I'm assuming nothing's soldered. I think they're just twisted together and taped. It's just a nightmare. I mean, look at the amount of electrical tape on this thing. I don't know if that wire is... Look, here's another broken wire right here. Again, it's too far gone to deal with. So I ordered a new harness. I want the electric fan to work off the sensors on the radiator. I just want everything to work right on this thing. So the best way to do it is to just get a new harness. I filled the radiator with antifreeze and I filled the motor with oil, and I don't have any leaks anywhere, so we're good to go there. I guess at this point now we can bring this back in the garage, throw it on the lift, and get going. I still don't have the harness yet, but I do want to get back to work on this. So let's get started. Back on the lift, and I think I'm going to finish putting the exhaust on, because that's not going to be in the way of wiring, because there's really not much wiring on this side of the bike outside of the foot pedal brake light switch, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna put the exhaust on this side and get this side all squared away. I'm gonna chase these out with the 8mm tap, just because there's paint in there, and I don't want any binding, so I'm gonna do that now. One of the reasons why I bought this as a parts bike is because it had a full Yoshimura exhaust on it, and you can see there. One thing it does have though is it is dented right there, and that's because it looks like it hit the ground from a wheelie and dented up a little bit. I tried to straighten it as best I could, but it looked like it was starting to crack here and there. So I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't look bad, and it still functions perfectly fine. So I'm just going to throw it back on, and we should be fine. We got a couple spaces that we have to put in here. There's one that's busted, and then there's one that's not. Just go in there like that. All right, that's tight. I don't want to over tighten it, crack anything, but that's pretty tight. Hopefully we won't have any leaks. If we do, we'll have to replace that seal. Just want to show you guys what I did here. When I took the studs out, they were pretty rusty. I couldn't get the nut off, but luckily the stud came out of the head, which was good. So those were no good. I had to replace them. So basically what I did was I just took some metric Phillips head screws and cut the backs off. Oh, cut the heads off them. That's pretty much it. Put them in with a double washer, with a double nut, and bought a couple of new nuts. And these nuts here are serrated on the back end, which makes them bite in so they don't vibrate out. And they'll bite into that flange, and we'll be good to go. Now another thing I did off camera was I couldn't get the screws out of the master cylinder reservoir, or the cylinder reservoir for the front brakes. So I had to drill them out. And this is the actual screw itself after I drilled the head off. If you guys can see it there. And then I grabbed it with a pair of needle nose vice grips, and they came right out. So what I did was I just replaced them with a set of flathead Allens rather than going and buying OMI parts. You can get these at Home Depot, no big deal. They're pennies on the dollar. So that's how I fixed that. And it drilled out really easy. I just used a drill a little bit bigger than the diameter of the thread. And the heads popped off, took the cover off, and like I said, there was probably 1/4 of an inch of screws sticking up. Grabbed it with a pair of needle nose pliers, and they came right out. As you can see there, I also replaced the front sprocket. And this is the sprocket I use in case anybody wants to order it. I got it off eBay. It's a Chinese, or Thailand, as you can see there, it's made in Thailand. JT, I've used them before. It's quality Japanese steel. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what I replaced it with. That's the number, and I did that off camera as well. I did that because when I wanted to roll this off the ramp, off the lift, the chain wasn't connected to anything. I didn't want it binding up and catching on stuff, so I ended up putting that back on. It's super tight right now. I need to loosen it up in the back, and that's because it didn't have a bottom roller, so the bottom roller is causing extra tension on the chain. So we'll adjust that once we get everything done before we take it for a ride. All right, these are the fender mounts. I don't know if you guys remember these, but they look really nice. I sandblasted them and painted them black. And I had broken screws in here, and I used a torch, and I was able to get them out, but they look like brand new. All right, let's slap them on. Alright, it's not coming off. Now what I want to do is I want to throw the plastics on here, and I just want to make sure that I'm not getting any interference with the exhaust on the plastics. That's why I wanted the fender mount on here. So let's do that now. Let's take a peek. I just have this loosely in here. Nothing's permanent, because I am taking this back off because I had to rewire everything. I got it loosely tightened in there. You can see that we don't have any interference anywhere with the exhaust, which is good. So I think we're in decent shape. Let me make sure that that's all the way down, and I don't see anything. One thing I did notice though is that I do have quite a gap between the support and that support mount, but I can put a washer in there. That's not a big deal. Spacer, I should say. And on this side, the plastics, it's missing, so we'll have to figure something out about how to fix that. I might just put a piece of angle iron in there, pop rivet it on, so that we can keep it from flapping. But we'll go over that in a future date. Also, we have a pretty good sized crack right here with zip ties in it. I'm going to take the zip ties out, and I'm going to put a plate across this, pop rivet it in, and I'm probably going to put some carbon fiber on it maybe, because I got a bunch of carbon fiber wrap that's been laying around a while, so we'll probably use that. That'll be in a future video as well. So for now, I think it looks pretty good. I think the exhaust is in a good spot, and the only thing I have to do now is I just need to pop that spring in. The spring had some red paint on it. Someone painted the spring red. So I have a paint stripper on it right now, just waiting to get all the paint off of it, and then we'll pop it back on. I think I'm going to mount this fender mount right now and come back and show you what it looks like. All right, lower fender mount's on, just loose. I don't like this hardware. I don't like the way it looks. I'm going to replace this with some stainless steel cap screws, and I'll pick some up. I'll pick up 4 of them, 8mm. Pop them in there with some washers. I think it'll look much better. Again, I have this in there loose, and that's loose. But it gives you a good idea where we're at. And I am going to make up some type of a bracket for that, so that we can keep that from flapping. All right. I think it's looking pretty good. I think these orange plastics are going to look awesome. They need to be cleaned up, obviously. They're dirty. and we'll do a little bit of video on how I'm going to clean those up. But for now, I think that looks good. So I think next up, what I want to do is I think I'm going to install the Nerf bars. They're not really going to get in the way of me doing electrical work. So yeah, let's do that. All right, if you guys remember, I bought these are Alba bars. I paid like 220 bucks for them. Let's take a look and see what we got. These are pretty nice bars. They have the foot peg and everything on them in the rear. Heel guard. These are similar to the bars that I have on my KFX, and they got orange nets for it, so they should match the plastics pretty nicely. And let's see what else we got. The bar. Here's the foot pegs, knife out. These are the peg mounts. These are the front mounts. And mounting hardware. All right. And directions for those that need them. Are we gonna never seize these? And mount it up. See what this looks like. All right. Now, can I already see that this isn't going to be optimal? I may have to modify once again. Alright, I don't think that this is going to work in its current situation. If you look here, I think that foot brake lever might be just a tad on the low side. And I think the bar needs to come down a little in the front. And it can't because it's hitting that. I'm going to have to cut it here. It's hitting. That's not going to work. Alright, this is why you test fit. But I think they look pretty nice. Well, all in all, I think they look sweet. They're gonna look nice on here. All right, we need to do some modification. All right, guys. So, in order for this to work, it needs to kind of be in this orientation right here. And you can see that this is in the way. So, what I need to cut out of that is something like this. Let me show you what I got. So this is, I'm pretty sure we need to cut out. You can see the mark. So I'm gonna take the skid plate off. We're gonna have to notch that out, same on both sides, in order to mount the Nerf bars correctly. But again, this skid plate came from a different ATV, and we're making it work, and modifications are necessary. So I'm gonna leave this piece right here just for more protection in case something comes up and what tries to whack the frame. So I'm gonna leave that there. I'll radius the edge there with the file like I did here, and we'll clean it up. We'll make it look good. All right, I'm going to shut you off while I pull off this skid plate. It won't take long, and then I'll cut it up. All right, I got the skid plate off in the vise, and this is what I'm gonna cut. This part's going bye-bye. So I drew a straight edge so it'd be a little neater. well, I didn't draw a straight edge. I used a straight edge to draw a straight line. And I'm going to cut down this line and then down that line and come back when I'm done. All right, same as I did here. I used this regular hacksaw, cut down through there. I scored this with my Dremel with a cutoff wheel. And now I'm just going to bend this till it snaps off and then clean the edges up. Here's the finished product. Radius to top. Looks pretty good. This is the piece we removed. So I'm going to use this as a template for the other side to get it symmetrical and throw it back on. Give you another look at it down here. And I left that on there for a little more protection. Alright, skid plate's back on. You guys can see she's fully bolted up. Both sides have been trimmed. And if you notice there, while I had it off, I made a hole for the drain, for the oil drain. So that's done too. So I guess it wasn't all lost that I had to take it off because I was able to get that done. Let's get a look here and see. I think this is going to do it. That'll go right in there like that. And I think we're in good shape. Just get it kind of snug. And I'll put this in. Pretty much it right there. We have a little bit of wiggle room here. Get it to go. That's pretty much it. I think that'll be perfect. And there's plenty of room for the foot brake to go down beyond the net. So we're good. All right, I'm going to tighten this all up and throw the other one on and then come back and show you guys how it looks. Alright, more fabrication needed. So as I went to put this side on, we got interference here with the fender mount. And I don't know why we have interference here, but it's not all the way in. So I am going to remove the fender mount, install the Nerf bar, and then figure out how much of this I have to cut off. Alright, so another thing that I picked up for this bike was I got a set of factory headlights here, and I think what I'm going to do is I think I want to mount them up. And the reason for that is so when I put the new wire harness in, I can see where all the plugs need to go, and I can route them around the frame in a neat manner in order to keep everything neat and tidy. So I think I'm just going to mount these on here temporarily for now. All right, headlights are on. They look pretty good. And the plugs are here. So ready to go. Nerf bars are on. I need to modify that. All right, so this is about all I can do for right now. Wire harness will be here in a couple days, and we'll pick it back up when the wire harness gets here. All right, guys, I modified this, as you can see there. I cut it. It should clear. I'm going to go mount it up and see how it looks. Yeah, it's on, and it is clearing. I mean, I don't see it hitting there. I think we'd be in good shape with it like that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on the end there so it doesn't rust. And we'll be good to go. And I did get new hardware. I'm going to use stainless steel Allen heads for, or Allen socket heads for the hardware on this here. Same as on the other side. I'm going to swap those out too. Wire harness came in. Let's take a look at it. And it's like $80, $79.99 or something like that. Let's take a peek. Looks like the harness. Seems like it anyway. We got a bunch of plugs down inside of there. I think we should have everything we need. Nice and new and clean. All right, I guess at this point here, all we gotta do is throw it in the bike. I'm gonna pull the other one out and then we'll take a look at it. All right, so we got some issues here. I started taking some of the electrical tape that had everything bound up. So this right here, I just have these up out of the way. These are the controls coming from, these are the plugs coming from the controls up there. Those are still intact, so those are good. We're in good shape there. The neutral safety switch doesn't seem to be cut. Plugs are still on. We're good there. I was able to unplug a few of these things. Obviously the stator still has its plugs, which is good. I don't know what these wires go to. They were wound up around this, so I have no idea what those go to. I don't know what this deal is here, why that's jumped like that. The fan is hardwired. There's no plug on the fan anymore, and as you can see here, it basically fell off when I was taking the electrical tape off. So I'm gonna have to cut that so I can continue pulling the wire harness out. So I'm just gonna clip it right here. That's it. Well, basically that was the ground wire, so that's off. Throw that over there. All right, I'm gonna keep pulling. All right, the harness is on the ground now, and we can take a look here, and you can really see how really bad this thing is. I mean, there's just wires cut everywhere. Again, I don't know what's going on here. This toggle here was added for the fan. Get some other stuff here. That's a Tours bypass. And if we look down here, we have more of these wires hanging off. I don't know what's going on here. Those are all jumped together. It's just a disaster. You got this hot wire right here that was running from the battery straight to the fan with no inline fuse. That's a disaster waiting to happen. So I'm just glad that this thing is off of here. I need to pull these sensors out. Well, these relays. Yeah, these relays. I need to pull the relays off. I need to get the CDI off and mount them back. Put these on the new harness. I think I'm gonna do that now. Push him in. There we go. That one's in. Now the next one. These are not the same, right? Oh. Well, they are exactly the same. Great. Okay, these are those right here. We'll put one in here. Ooh. Don't want to go in. Huh. Maybe that's not the right one. Maybe that one is. There we go. I think that's all the way in. The other one goes here. Ah, man. All right, those are in. Now, That's there. And I got this guy here that's got a plug in. Gotta find where that goes. Oh, it's already got them in. I'll save that as a spare. Already got the fuses in there. Okay. So that other harness was missing one of these. That's probably where the cut wires came from. Now we just got to plug the CDI in. And that's these plugs right here. That's in. That's in. All right, I'm gonna go install this on the bike now. All right, what I did find out is the solenoid's no good. The solenoid that I had that was in the bike is not the right one. The motor and the battery are reversed for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe this is for an older or a newer bike, I don't know. But I put the one in it. I had one laying around from one of the other bikes. This solenoid doesn't work. You hit the starter button and it doesn't do anything. Let me just show you real quick. Alright, so the way the starter button works is basically most of your switches on an ATV or a motorcycle operate on ground, not on 12 volts. They do that so that you don't have an electrical fire. If there's a short, it just won't work. You can see I have nothing in here. Now, if I put this down inside of here, this is the trigger for the solenoid to fire the starter. And I hit the starter button, you can see that the wiring harness is fine. It's that solenoid that's no good. Now, if I come on the other side and I hit that button, same deal. It's jumping across, but it's not shooting the electricity across because the solenoid is bad inside. It's not moving. So if I jump it, we get spark. We get it to fire over, which I'll show you. Fires over, no problem. Now let me turn you real quick. All right, let's see if you can see the spark. I turned the lights down so you can see it better. And that is a really good spark we got now. Okay, one thing I have to do before I get too carried away here is there needs to be a wire coming from this that goes directly to the ground on the battery. And the reason for that is this grounds the harness. And other than that, the harness would have no ground and it would do nothing. So I'm going to go over to the bench and I'm going to build a little wire pigtail type kind of deal that will go to the harness. Alright, so here's my wires. I got this little piece here. This is left over. I'm pretty sure this is left over from a wire harness from a Yamaha Blaster that I put a new wire harness in, and I kept a lot of the old harness. Alright, I'm going to cut this off, put a new one on. I want to put some down inside of there. I want to make sure that we have a really good connection in there too. We're going to slide this over this now. And we're going to heat shrink it. Same thing, melt it. That's it. Done. Now, I'm not going to put a brand new wire harness on this bike and then half-ass it and use, you know, like wire nuts or just twist them together with electrical tape. Nope, I soldered them together. I have the right butt connector on there, and I got a really nice soldered end on that. And let's go put that on the bike. Well, here it is. So the butt connector's in there, not coming out, and there's our new ground. And that'll go over to the ground on the battery. All right, I put coolant lines on. I put the air line, a couple of the air breather lines on. The overflow tube is in. I'm probably gonna reroute it. I don't know if I like the way it's going. I'm probably gonna have it go underneath and then in the back. I'll reroute that in a minute. Engine ice. I'm gonna fill the reserve up. Easiest way to do it is with one of these bottles. Just squirt it in there. Right, so this is the throttle assembly that I bought on eBay. Came with a cover, but didn't come with any screws, which is fine because I have screws. No big deal. Let's pop this guy on. Up here and take a look. It's functioning okay. Brakes all right. All right. I think we should probably at least plumb in the throttle cable and the clutch. So I actually found one screw. I thought I had button heads, but I don't. I have flat heads. I'll have to pick up some button heads, but I got one screw to put that on with anyway. So here's the new Motion Pro throttle cable. The Yamaha cable. And this is the race-driven clutch cable. All right, I'm gonna pop these on. I'm not gonna bore you with it because they're pretty simple. All right, guys, the clutch cable's on. As you can see, it's working good. I have the throttle cables on. Let me show you real quick. Brand new throttle cables on. And it's not returning, but as you can see, it comes down to here. And I got them routed through where they're supposed to be, and they're up through the hooks in the front, down in the back there. So I think what I want to do now is I'm going to slap the carburetor on this and put the new plug in. Let's see if we can start it. All right, guys, let's see if we can start this thing. I got my temporary gas bottle on here. Having a cold snack. This thing's driving me to drink. All right, let's open up the gas. See if we can get this thing to fire up. I'm gonna choke it. See what happens. All right, let's try it again. I got a charging pack on here. Let's open the fuel back up. I know it's leaking, but whatever. Let me start it up again. I'm gonna run the carb out of gas and take that bottle off because it's leaking. right, well, she's out of gas. So, she's running good. I can't complain with that. Can't complain with that at all. All right, we made some good progress in this video, but we got it running. We got it in good shape. The wire harness is in. We're looking good. I think at this point here, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have on this. And I'm tired. As you can see, it's dark outside. I probably just aggravated the neighbors with this thing running, but it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to call it, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, and I think there'll be one more video left on this one, and then it'll be done. We'll take it for a ride and all that stuff, but we have to go through it one more time just to double check everything. But when we come back, we're going to finish up the wiring and plumb in the rest of the tubes that have to go in for the crankcase vent and all that stuff, air box, plastics. All right, I'm rambling. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.